Sokoto, you move to the south of the country, nowhere is safe. Even before, sometimes when there is issue, people run to the villages. The villages are today not safe. Just the way we complain in Abuja, that is the way the common man in the village, who is a farmer, that is how he complains. How do we go about this? So I do not know how we can move as a country when we have issues like this bedeviling us. As the highest lawmaking institution in the country, the Senate is constitutionally vested with the power of making laws for the peace, order, and good governance of the Federation. It is empowered to represent the interests, yearnings, and aspirations and well-being of the citizenry. Similarly, the Senate also intervenes in matters of urgent national interest like insecurity, epidemic, drought, poverty, illiteracy, flood, and other national issues. Given the present state of affairs in the country, how far so far from the Nigerian Senate? We have the former General and Commissioner for Justice, former Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice of Osun State. He was also a commissioner in the Ministry of Regional Integration and Special Duties for about 4 years. He is present representing the good people of Osun Central Federal Constituency. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning, program.
Good morning.
Okay, I must start to be a senator presently in the present political tapestry of our nation.
Being proud as a senator comes from the fact that I've discharged my responsibility to my constituents and to Nigerian people, giving qualitative representation as a senator of the Federal Republic. But as to challenges that we have, I would say that I'm particularly too happy as to a ton of events in the country. By Section 14 of the Constitution of Nigeria, security and welfare of the people is a paramount purpose of government. In the area of security, we are thoroughly and seriously challenged. The event that happened just about 2 days ago at the Kaduna Abuja railway is not only shocking, it is heart-rending, and it shook infrastructure investment that have been done by the present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. You see a government laboring to ensure that we have a multimodal approach to transportation, and that has been attacked in the most virulent, most sadistic manner by enemies of progress. But then, as a senator, and I'm speaking here not as a spokesperson of Senate, I speak as what I would call myself a federalist. I believe that the problem of insecurity is not as if it's insurmountable, but we are just playing ostrich, and we attach ourselves to the apron string of the challenges that we have had in the past. As soon after my election as a senator, inauguration of the 9th Assembly, I inaugurated a bill on state police in Nigeria. I still strongly believe that the problem of security in Nigeria is not just a military problem. It's a problem of policing. Nigeria is one of the most under-policed society in the world. The entire police structure that we have in Nigeria, police formation, is about 5,565 from the headquarters to the police command, area command, police stations, police formations, all of them about 5,665 or so or thereabout, for a population of between 180 million and 200 million. And by my understanding, the personnel of the Nigerian police, they are far less than 400,000. So when you want to look at the ratio of policing to the population, is abysmally low. Then also, because of the unitary system of the police system, you have a situation whereby the hierarchical command of police reports straight to Abuja. Even matter of petty theft as the final say in Abuja. I am a strong advocate that tackling our problem of insecurity, yes, if you are able to deal with the perennial little challenges of insecurity at the local level, then the more serious problem of insecurity, of terrorism, banditry, that could be specialized forces to be able to do so. But when you have a situation whereby the Nigeria's the civil policing structure itself in the state of Comatose, it put a lot of strain even on the military to do what ought not, to be their primary, concern. So I still believe it's unfortunate that many of our colleagues in the National Assembly don't agree with us on the issue of state police, and the thing was voted down at the constitutional review. And of course, as an alternate to state police, I've also advocated a bill which is still, has not seen the light of the day, that even if you are not having state police because of fears of people that possibly to be used for political victimization, that the existing zonal structure command of the Nigerian police should be made autonomous operationally and budgetarily. What do I mean? You have about 18 or 19 commands of the police, zonal command of the police. They should have their own budget, they should have their own operational autonomy, so that will give them initiatives. Then you also need to expand the capacity in terms of technology, in terms of personnel, and in terms of intelligence gathering. When we were growing up, we used to know those people they call police informants. Do we still have them in Nigeria today? How come that we cannot even have snippet of intelligence to nip in the bud some of these heinous crimes? Those are the challenges that we have. I want to appeal to most of our colleagues to not get a kind of sentimental attachment to the current system. We cannot make any headway, and will continue to fail our people if we don't dismantle the architecture which is unitary of the Nigerian police structure. You cannot have a federal system of government and you call our governors chief security officers of their state, and they don't have any say in terms of deployment, in terms of operational command and ensuring security in their state. The abnormality also show that, being an attorney general, you prosecute crime, but you don't even have the power to investigate the crime. You don't have the resources to do so, and you don't have the vigilance to do so. Is it not an anomaly? And you are the one to say you are enforcing criminal proceedings in that regard. Of course, argument had been raised that when you have state police, it will be abused by the governor. The question you ask yourself is this: on the scale of balance, is it the possible challenge of elitist conspiracy against themselves that matters in terms of political affiliation, or the life and property of the average teeming member of the population? The question of political victimization is an elitist thing. It has nothing to do with the average people who want to earn their living. I just shuddered myself. I was supposed to start a course at the NDA in Kaduna on security and intelligence. Just imagine I'm also on that platform. Everybody will just, so you cannot even do your daily activity, whether you are at the top or you are in the middle or in the low. So we need to really sit down, think about dismantling the architecture of security we have in Nigeria in a way that will re-energize and will come with what can really be able to attend the problem of security. No matter what you do in terms of infrastructure, in terms of social investment, if security is not tackled, then we are not doing anything at all.
The remark of Distinguished, first and foremost, I'm very, very happy that when Distinguished started, he described himself as a federalist. And when you introduced me, you introduced me as national coordinator of Coalition of Federalists for Good Governance. And for way of explanation, who is a federalist? A federalist is that person who believes in the tenets, in the doctrine, in the principle of federalism, being strictly adhered to in a country that calls itself a federation. There are 25 or 26 federations across the world. It's only Nigeria, as Distinguished just said, that is running a monolithic or a centralized, highly centralized security structure. And there is no way we can achieve security with that type of model. And then going to your question, and by extension, there is no way we can bring about good governance if we are having a problem of systemic dysfunction and we are not addressing it. But I'm surprised that Distinguished said efforts were made for creation of state police in the last constitutional review exercise. Yes, it's supposed to be Senator Kremadu sponsor one, 2 or 3 other senators. But to our surprise, I'm a reporter, I covered the Senate, I've been covering the Senate since 2008. To our surprise, out of the 68 items brought for consideration for voting, state police was not there. It was even dropped at the level of committee level. It was not even subjected to voting by all the senators or all the members of the House of Representatives. So it was a surprise. In the past assembly, when the exercise was carried out, yes, it was even brought as part of items to be looked into, though voted against. But the last exercise, it did not even make it among the 68 items brought. But that is even by the way. The most important thing is that, as he said, and as we federalists believe, until Nigeria as a country address that problem of systemic dysfunction, no amount of effort, there's no amount of effort government will put in with decentralized security architecture that will bring the desired result. It's not about somebody being a pessimist or doing so, but we have to do the right thing. What was bequeathed to us by the British colonialists, it was a decentralized federation, not the type of federation we are running now. There's no way you corrupt a system and you want the system to give you a desired result. So by extension, good governance too will be far-fetched in a country where security is not obtainable. So for good governance to actually, in the true sense, okay, for example, look at the present federal government. I'm not a Buharist, but the government have been trying to put off infrastructure here and there and so on and so forth. But look at what happened 2 or 3 days ago. Terrorists bombing rail track between Abuja to Kaduna, and even maybe a few hours before that time, attempted to overrun the Kaduna airport. That means some people who are somewhere capitalizing on that lacuna in our security arrangement to start attacking the infrastructure being put in place. You can see how frustrating it is. So we need to address that problem of quite all right is that the terrorists or the criminally minded people among us, they are capitalizing on the systemic dysfunction, that problem we have. They are capitalizing need to carry out their heinous crime on daily basis. And government is supposed to look at that direction. Decentralize it. If we cannot get the police, as the senator said, let us decentralize the federal police we have now on zonal basis, that will be autonomous and then financially and administratively. Maybe with that, we are going to get some result.
Sen.Ajibola Basiru, National Assembly, comprised of 109 members in the Senate and 360 House of Representative members, and the decisions are taken on the basis of majority decision. So it is quite unfortunate that majority in even the committee of the constitutional review did not share our idea as to even constitutional review to introduce state police. So it is not just about individual senator and individual House of Rep. I think there is a need to you to be able to see a relationship between the representatives and those that give mandate to those that are represented. For civil society organizations, my counsel with them is that rather than just criticize an institution, they should ensure that they go back to the populace, enlighten them as to the quality and character of people that will man that institution. No matter how beautiful and how good your idea is, if you don't get the support of the majority of the legislator to support you, you're not able to do so. I've on several occasions been a lone voice in the Senate on the issue that has to do with federal structure of Nigeria. I remember at the time when a law was brought about a bill on the food reserve. My view is that it is a residual matter. Agriculture, except the area of finance and research, federal government had no business with agriculture. A government that has no land of its own are spending billions of dollars on agriculture. That's why they go into drains. There was also a bill about livestock identification and management at the federal level. I also oppose it personally as a senator, but I appear to be a lone voice. So there must be a correlation between the aggregate number of people in the assembly and the opinions that we want to be represented in that regard. And I will tell you, there are also disparity in terms of our experience as individuals that populate that institution. So then there's also certain limitations that even as a National Assembly that you have. Yes, you have to make law. We are not to implement that law. Then if you also have an executive that can drive some of this necessary legislative agenda. I served in Osun. When I was in Osun, I was able to be instrumental through the executive arm to making of no less than 120 laws that qualitatively affect the legal landscape of the state. So if you have a vibrant Ministry of Justice and an executive that look at the challenges and the mischief under our law and introduce legislation, it's far easier to get support for an executive bill than a private member bill. So I believe that the totality of this issue has to do with improving the quality of even the electorate through sensitization, education, and aggregation of ideas about good government rather than predominant sentiment being the basis of getting people to the representative level at the National Assembly. Everybody, and at the risk of say, if you don't blow your trumpet, it will go rust. If I don't know of those who have held my office here, but when it comes to advocacy, enlightenment, programs, and I think my position as chairman of a Senate committee, I've used it in a large extent. But then there's a difference between a spokesperson of an institution, because you have a limitation, and that's why most of the time when I want to talk, and today I told you I'm speaking as a senator, I'm not as spokesperson of the Senate, because you must make so that people will not go and quote you that this is what I'm a Senate spokesperson saying. So what you need to do is that you need to go to the grassroots to get ideas to be percolated as to the need to have quality representation and to have representation that reflect the yearnings and aspirations of our people. Most of the time when a serious debates are even being made, you can discover that the quality of representation in certain regard, and I'm not saying it to indict anybody, are not really what we desire. But I think there has been a development. By the time democracy began in 1999, if you look at the quality of our assembly, is far not as improved as it is under the 9th Assembly. I think incrementally, I believe that we're going to get there. But what I mean is that sensitization is not just enough using the instrumentality of the Senate. You need civil society organizations, you need non-government organizations, even faith-based organizations to do quality advocacy among the people to ensure that we have quality representation both at the executive and at the legislative level. But I think when you begin to let it, you look at antecedents of people, you look at what are their selling point, and then you make mistakes. Everybody make mistake in terms of evaluation of human being. But if you are really introspective and you are really dispassionate in your analysis and consideration of people, the chances that you make mistake is far less than just vote on the fact that somebody is my classman, somebody belong to the same religion, somebody is belong to the same family, those, or somebody has more money than other co-contestant. Then you are not really appealing to those that are done. You ask what is the track record that the person had in terms of even his personal development, in terms of community engagement, and in terms of some other activities in the society.
Yes, answered it. Democracy is a game of a number. If we have 109 senators, and distinguished senators, Sen.Ajibola Basiru is in support of decentralizing the Nigerian police force as we have it, by way of having a state police. There's no way his own argument will supersede those of the other 108 senators if they are not in tandem with his proposition. So by way of democracy, Sen.Ajibola, Ikrimadu, and few others who share that view, as long as they find it difficult to convince majority of other senators, that idea will not see through, and that is what we experience, not just in this 9th assembly, right from the 5th, 6th assembly. That is how something has been, and then he has given us a way out by now saying that civil society organization, NGOs, faith-based organization, and so on and so forth should also help by sensitizing by way of advocacy, telling the Nigerian populace the gains in all those things. Maybe if we go into to meet the people and tell them this would be better if we decentralize our security architecture and so on and so forth, the lawmakers that are there, by the time they see that Nigerians, that is what they want, they too will not want to go against Nigeria, because in the first place, Nigerians who voted for them to be senators or honorable members. The US that we are citing as example, that is what we want to achieve. Are they being policing is removed from the exclusive list. is in the exclusive list, and anything that is in the exclusive list by our own constitution can only be legislated upon by the federal government. So it is when it is moved to the concurrent list, the federal police will still be there, but state that has the economic wherewithal can set up their own police and a way complement that of the federal. So it's not that Senator Ajibola or any other senator who had that opinion. It's not that they are not putting their bed, but if they put in their bed, but unfortunately, as it is today, majority of senators and by extension, majority of honorable members of the House of Representatives, they are not seeing merit in that position of argument that we need to have a state police. Maybe in the next assembly, with the way the security situation, this bandits and terrorists, yes, the way they are going, maybe because I'm happy that 2 days ago, Senator Obasani from Kaduna Central, he came by way of a motion, anchored it on orders of the Senate. In that lead debate, he put a state police there. And the senator from that Kaduna State, Suleiman Kwari from Kaduna North, he also advocated for state police. We're getting there gradually. We don't know where those two senators were when the constitutional review was being done. Yes. But for them to come out now and say state police, so automatically, just as he said, as we move on, things will get better. Of
the federal universities, and ensuring that we have a governing structure that is not dependent only on government patronage. All over the world, universities are market of ideas. They should be able to have a relationship between the town and the gown to ensure that resources are made to be able to run the university. As of today, resources of the Nigerian government cannot afford a fully funded public university education.
If we can get that one done, we have security in the country, automatically there will be good governance, because everything rests on security. If there is no security, farmer cannot go to farm, and those who want to travel will be afraid to travel, and so on and so forth. So my last word is, they should rejig the security architecture in the right way, in line with the principle, tenets, and doctrine of federalism, since Nigeria is a federation.